Hello and welcome to another video. Now, you may have noticed that I've been doing a lot of reading vlogs about the Grishaverse. I did the first trilogy as a reading vlog, then I did a reading vlog for Six of Crows, and then another one for Crooked Kingdom. And you might be wondering, when is the one for King of Scars coming out? And the answer would be never. Why? I just didn't film one when I was reading the book. I would like to say because I wasn't feeling it and I just wanted to really pay attention to the book, and I had a lot of other things going on in my life. But the truth is probably that past me was just very lazy and didn't feel like having to film it and then edit the video, which present me is really salty about because I really wish I had done it, because it would be really cool to have a reading vlog for each of the books. So instead of doing a reading vlog for King of Scars, I am doing a theory video trying to speculate what's going to happen in Rule of Wolves. So without further ado, let's go check out these crazy theories I have.
Spoiler warning, I am going to spoil everything from the first Grisha trilogy to Six of Crows to Crooked Kingdom and King of Scars. So if you haven't read all those books, I would not recommend watching this video. But if you don't care, watch this video because I think it's interesting.
So we do know one thing. We know more than one thing, but this is one thing we know for sure, is that the book is titled Rule of Wolves. One of those words is wolves. And who is associated with wolves? Fjordans. And not only Fjordans, but the Druskelle. The Druskelles' sacred animal are like the wolves, so I feel like the title is alluding to how the Fjordans, and specifically the Druskelle who hunt Grisha, are going to try to take over Ravka, because if you remember from King of Scars, there is that one Fjordan guy who claims to be Nikolai's biological father. So they're claiming that Nikolai is a bastard and doesn't have a legitimate claim to the Ravkan throne, and they're marching on to Ravka, and there's going to be a war. So right where we left the book, every single other country could be an enemy. Even Ravka itself, it could go into another civil war. I feel like Ketterdam or the Kirch are less of a threat because they only care about money. But they are mad because of the whole submarine debacle, and then we have the Shu, who tried to assassinate Nikolai, but I feel like they're not going to be that much of a problem because Nikolai is going to marry one of the princesses, but the Shus are also the ones who are kidnapping Grisha to experiment on them and make them weird flying robots that they can control, so obviously they're still a huge threat. The Shu kind of maybe scare me more than the Fjordans, which is saying a lot because the Fjordans and the Druskelle are really scary. But I feel like the Fjordans are the greater threat right now, simply because they have the claim to the throne, but the Shu are more contained right now because of the whole marriage ordeal. Okay, so one of the things that I liked less about the first book, so King of Scars, was that Nina's storyline and her point of view was completely parallel to everyone else's. They didn't converge, they didn't interact, just maybe in flashbacks or throwaway comments. I really want Nina's storyline to actually have direct impact on what's going on Ravka and the other side, because it doesn't make sense to have 3 points of views and one not interact with the other two for the whole series. So I feel like the storylines are going to converge maybe halfway throughout the book. Probably not at the beginning, but I hope halfway we get half the book with the three of them being in at least the same country. And I also think that Nina is going to get a girlfriend, and I'm so happy about that. I would be okay with them being just friends, but Nina is clearly super attracted and kind of infatuated with this new girl, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, there's a lot of parallels between her and Matthias because they're both Fjordans, stubborn, and really freaking tall, so just really looking forward to that. And Nina's whole thing is that I feel like she's going to go to Ravka, and when she finally meets Zoya again, I think that her powers are going to get stronger, because I feel like Zoya, who has just been taught by a dragon to be one of the most powerful Grisha alive, Zoya could teach her the new techniques and how, what's that they say, the power at the making of the world or something like that? I don't remember how to use that. And then I feel like Nina using that new technique could become a heartrender again. Because, like, Zoya's powers now are limitless with that way of thinking about Grisha power. So I feel like they're going to incorporate that somehow into Nina's new powers, which might make them more powerful in that way, or which might make her recover her previous Heartrender powers plus her powers over the dead. I think that's really something that's going to happen, and I really hope it is, because I really, really like Nina being super powerful, so I'm all for that. Also, speaking of Nina in her thoughts, she references every single Six of Crows member except Wylan. She doesn't think about him once. And I know I'm right because I was paying attention. I was looking out for that. She references Jesper, Inej like the most several times, obviously Matthias, and Cass. Jesper I think the one that she mentions the least, but the other three she mentions constantly. Where the heck is Wylan? And it's not like they never interacted in the duology. They did. Like, they were together for a long time, and she tailored Wylan's face to look like Kuwei, so she knows who he is. Why doesn't she mention him once? And speaking of Wylan and Jesper, I'm pretty sure, maybe this is just like hopeful thinking, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to turn up in the second book, because they did mention maybe going to Ravka to try and get Jesper to develop his fabricator skills. So I think they might turn up there, and especially since David is all into like the explosive things and making things work, I think that like Wylan could help with that if they need any help developing a new weapon, because David did develop the like glowy purple fire, I think it was, in the first trilogy, and then Wylan used that and like developed something different in the first duology, and then maybe in this duology they're going to work together. I feel like that's something that could like very easily happen. And I really want to see Wylan and Jesper again. And I'm really curious to know why Nina didn't mention him once. I actually looked up theories about what's going to happen in Rule of Wolves, and a lot of people seem to think that Lee Bardugo is going to kill Zoya Nasialinsky, and I am super against this theory, not because I don't think it's going to happen, but because I really don't want it to happen. Zoya has become one of my favorite characters in the whole series, and I really, really, really like her perspective. I think her character is so interesting. I've never read any character like her and actually enjoyed it, so I really, really, really like her, if you couldn't tell. So I don't want her to die, but I do get why people think she's going to die, because now she's a bit overpowered. She's like, you can barely think of any actual physical conflict that they could be in that she wouldn't win at, because she has all the Grisha power at her fingertips. So, you know, when they make a character that powerful, so like Nina with Jurda Parem, they usually like take that away by either like making them addicts, taking the power away just like cleanly, like they did with Alina. She was too powerful, so the power got taken away. With Nina, she was too powerful, so she was temporarily inconvenienced, and then her power changed and transformed into something else. So I feel like that might happen to Zoya. Can Zoya turn into a dragon? That's what I want to know. I hope yes, because she would look so cool. And wouldn't Zoya make such a good queen? Which leads us to Zoya and Nikolai. Do I ship it? Yes, I do ship it so freaking hard. Like, they are, I'm not gonna say cute because that's not the right word for them, but they're so addictive to read. Like, their conversations, they clearly have such good chemistry and such a great and interesting dynamic between them that you don't usually see in characters, and it's slow burn. And I didn't know this about myself, but I love slow burn. If a couple like ends up together in the first book they show up in, I am not going to ship that couple so hard. I really ship couples more if it's harder to get to the point where they actually confess their feelings to each other and start like their actual relationship. So I just really, really love their relationship. I think they are going to end up together. Maybe something tragic is going to happen because it is Ravka. So I'm really not looking forward to having my heart broken. Okay, and before we talk about Nikolai, let's talk about this new, like, I forgot his name. He wasn't a priest, he was a monk. And the guy whose body is now inhabited by the Darkling. I'm not a fan of the Darkling, and I'm definitely not a fan of villains dying and then like 3 years later coming back for the next series in a book or in a movie and being the main villain again. So I don't know, kind of like Star Wars vibes, but I don't know, I'm not a fan of the Darkling having come back. I understand why. So my questions are, is he going to be the main villain of the book? I really hope he isn't. I mean, there's a lot of external conflict, so he's probably not going to be. Is Alina coming back? I don't think she is because she doesn't have powers anymore, but the thing is, now that Zoya has this new technique, she could teach Alina how to use her powers again, so I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that Alina might be coming back. And I feel like also the fandom isn't 100% in love with Alina, so Leigh Bardugo might try to like bring her back and make her more likable, to like brainwash the fandom into thinking that they always liked her. So talking more about the villains, I think that the Aparat is going to be a very big and important villain in this story. Some people have speculated that the Aparat was the one who told the Fjordans that Nikolai was a bastard and he was actually a bastard from Fjorda. Some other people have speculated that someone from the inner circle could have found the letters from Nikolai's biological father and given it to the Fjordans, but I really don't think this is the case because we know Nikolai's inner circle by now, like, really well. So I don't think they would do that to Nikolai because we got like the fake out, maybe Tamar and Zoya and no, I forget his name, and Tamar and her brother are bad because they worked with the Aparat, but we already got that in the first series, so I don't think we're gonna get that again. That would be kind of a cheap move, so I feel like it was someone else. Maybe the Aparat, maybe someone else in the castle. Which leads us to another villain, and that's Grisha babies. They're not the villain, but what the hell are the Fjordans doing? Making pregnant mothers addicted to Jorda Parem? And then, like, will their Grisha babies be addicted to Jorda Parem? My guess is yes, but this is really like, they're playing the long game here because they're babies, so they're going to have to wait like 10 to 12 years for them to actually be useful, you know, if you want to use a 12-year-old in war. So I'm wondering if that's going to have to do with a future series, because it's clearly not going to be completely resolved in this series. So even though they might save all the mothers and all the babies, we won't really get closure from that arc because the babies will still have to grow up if they, you know, if they live, because if they kill the babies, obviously that arc is closed, but if the babies live, that gives Leigh Bardugo an opportunity to write another series following these babies and what happened to them. I don't know if that's gonna happen. And I also think that the babies and the being addicted to Jorda Parem might be tied to Zoya in a way because she knows another way of getting that amount of power without having to be addicted to the Jorda Parem. So I feel like she is going to come into play with the babies once Nina actually goes and interacts with Zoya or Nikolai. I feel like since Nikolai probably like expelled like 50% of the monster, I feel like he will be able to control the darkness. I don't know if he is gonna embrace it and actually like try to use it on purpose or he's just going to want to control it, but I think it would be kind of cool to see him try to control it and embrace the darkness, and a good metaphor. But I do think it's either gonna kill him or he's gonna let it go in the end. I don't think that at the end of the book he's going to stay with the darkness inside him. Okay, so those are all my theories about what's going to happen in the last book that we know of in the Grishaverse, but what do I want to happen? I have like a couple of things that I really want to happen. The first one being that Nina ends up with this new girl, you know, romantically. I want Nina's storyline to like merge with Nikolai's and Zoya's because it makes no sense for them to be completely separate things. And then I want Zoya and Nikolai to get together and stay together. If one of them dies, or if they don't get together and they don't have a happy ending, I'm going to be so freaking sad. So please, Leigh Bardugo, if you're watching this, even though you've already written the book and it's going to be published in a couple of days, please change the ending and make them end up together and be happy. That's all I want. If I had to choose who I want to end up together, like either Zoya or Nikolai or Nina and her new girlfriend, I don't know who I would choose. I think Zoya and Nikolai, just because we know them more and they've known each other longer, but it's a tough choice. And I'm pretty sure that some of the Six of Crows characters are gonna show up in this book. If not all of them, then at least Wylan and Wesper. I would really love to see Nash and her new boat and her new like hunting pirates and slavers thing like be involved somehow. And you know, Cass could help. If Nikolai needs help like pulling off some crazy stunt, he could be like, Cass Brecker, do you want to come over here and help? And Cass would be like, if you pay me, then sure. So that's it. That's my sorry excuse of a video for not having filmed a reading blog. I hope you liked it. Please let me know down below if you agree with my theories or if you have some theories of your own. Please leave a like if you like this video and click subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Click that bell button so you get notifications every time I post, and I post videos every Mondays and Fridays, so there's a lot of content from me, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!